This is a Soulfire production. Welcome to Mother. No, it's Mother. Welcome to Mother, the show where we can explore our inner mothers to actualize our greatest selves. Through interviews with incredible guests, live coaching sessions, and my own experiences, we're going to dive deep into embracing feminine values and reparenting ourselves. So be prepared to show up, hold space, and be mothered in a way you never have before, but have always needed. It's time we rewrite the Mother Code. Hi, and welcome to episode 67 of Mother, Rewriting the Mother Code with me, Dr. Gertrude Lyons. I want to hop on today and really just dive in and dig into, really recognize the month of May and acknowledge how the month of May has really over time been dedicated and a very important month for the divine feminine. So I want to elaborate a little bit on that, kind of get us in the space and share some of what's been going on for me this month that has really brought this to focus. And I have really felt it very, very deeply, this sense. And I think that's what is possible, right? When we look at how we came to have the holidays that we have that I've talked about before, or special meaning. Is it that we give the month of May this divine feminine power, significance, or is there some ancient through line and cosmic through line? I don't know, but I choose to have the attitude and come from that it's possible that it's there and it's possible to tap into it, and that I'm adding to it. I'm adding to the collective energy of the divine feminine by participating, stirring up, bringing to focus, what's here. And I think in some ways we have this heritage, this divine, this connection, to this month inherently, and we're making attempts and kind of dancing around it more. Now, Mother's Day is this month. Mother's Day in our culture is sweet, it's nice, it's stirring, a time to honor mothers, but it's commercialized, right? On the downside, it's the depth of it. I don't think most of us think about or tap into. We just sometimes want to kind of let her of the lot and make sure our mom feels at least a little bit special, right? So I think this is about our intention and seeing what's available and then choosing what level we want to engage with it, right? So I mentioned Mother's Day. The month of May also has other significant happenings. I don't know what to call it. The month of May has May Day, May flowers, the flower moon, Mother's Day, as I mentioned. There's also, from Celtic times, the fertility rituals and the Maypole, and this time of, is exemplified through the season of spring and blooming and blossoming and fecundity and fertility, and just that aspect and that power of the feminine that flows through this time of the year, this particular time. And it has been powerful in that way for me. I've really been intentionally finding ways to tap into and focus that energy. And it's been both really beautiful and divine in many ways. And I've had some challenges. Hi, I'm so excited to share with you my 2024 Spring Equinox Self-Mothering Retreat that's happening this March 2024. And I would love for you not only to consider it, but to attend. But in considering it,
Hey, just knowing that you would be leaving cold weather, if that's the space that you're in, and coming down to just magnificently beautiful, warm, nourishing place of Zihuatanejo, Mexico. Zihuatanejo meaning land of the goddess women, and coming to really take time for yourself. Okay. And that I am learning more and more isn't just a nice thing to do or something extravagant or something selfish. It's essential. And I really want you to take it seriously, to consider, just think about what would it take for me to go. It's a 5.5-day retreat, getting from where you are, getting there, landing there, and then being in a space that is all about you. It's all about nourishing you. It's all about tuning into you, using everything around us, the nature, the food, the beautiful people, the rituals, ceremonies. I bring it, we really bring it. And we go deeper and deeper as the days go on, and we release, we let go, we bring in what is nourishing, what is empowering, what is that space of just really divine feminine energy. And we do it in the community of women. It's not for everyone. I will be honest, if that idea of leaving and not making it work, or it's just too hard, not for you. If the idea of, spending that amount of time inwardly focused and going to that level of self-awareness doesn't sound like something you're willing to do or put the time and energy into, then it's not for you. And it's good to know that, right? So this is for people who are serious about what it means to mother themselves, what it means to take time for ourselves, and that gift and what that gift can bring to us. It was originally right after my fall retreat. It filled right up. But now some people, it turns out, are not able to come. So I do have a handful of openings. And if you're listening to this and you're willing to take that step, please reach out to me. We can do a discovery call, or you can put a deposit down. I would love that. And you can do that by going to my website, www.drgertrudelyons, DrGertrudelyons.com. Go to events, and there you go. It'll all be there. There's a beautiful page there for you to explore. I look forward to hearing from you and then seeing you on my spring retreat.
I feel like sometimes when you really turn, when I have, and I think it can be true in general, turn ourselves toward the light and things start popping and happening, the more shadow side starts to come in and test us, right? And I think that was happening. I had some really good news and positive things happening in the month. I was the guest on Erica Jassa's podcast, Happy as a Mother, and that was really beautiful and very, very special. And she aired that at the beginning of the month, or really the end of April. And I found out that one of my dream guests for the podcast, a little foreshadow here that'll be coming up, is Jill Bolte Taylor said yes to being on my podcast, and all these big, beautiful, wonderful things were happening. And then my Instagram account got hacked and I was down, and it was super upsetting. And I really had to work at not letting that energy take over. The month was kicking off in this really beautiful way. And I'm going to say these from a feminine perspective, pretty deep and profound. So I could give my energy to that negativity, and really build myself up and put out, even hate vibes, to people who would do such a thing. And I worked on it. I said, that's kind of a waste of my time and my energy. And it's not the energy I want to put out. No, did I like it? No. Do I agree with it? Is it wrong? Sure, it is. But was I going to let it ruin the vacation with my husband to Paris and London? I mean, that so could have been possible. I could have been consumed by recovery of my Instagram account and, have it be the most important thing. And it ended up being a really beautiful, I felt hugely supported by my husband, because there was a way he brought the masculine energy of really stick to it and digging in and being detailed about staying with it. And I held, the space that all will be well, and everything will work out. And it did, and I don't think it was an accident. One of the things that I really wanted to make sure we did when we went to Paris was visit a pilgrimage site that I've been to several times before when we've been on pilgrimage, but also have gone there times by myself when we've been in Paris. And it's the chapel for the Miraculous Mary Medallion, and St. Catherine, who was visited by the Virgin Mary and told to have this medal made, and that it would have healing properties. And and here's this nun in a convent having no resources, no way to make something like that happen, but she did. And if you have any familiarity in the Catholic faith, this particular medallion of the Blessed Virgin Mary is the most popular. It's everywhere. I know my grandma had one on her watch. They pinned one to me as a baby. It was just kind of in another culture where you have the protective eye. It was seen like that. It was worn and used as protection, but also healing. And I really don't think it was an accident that the day we went to that place, and to this very special place, and this energy, that everything that we were doing to get my account recovered happened. I mean, it worked. And I actually did a story at that moment. I'm here at the site, and yes, this is really me. I'm back. And I'm back on Instagram. And I just thought that was such a huge gift, but also such a huge vote for the masculine in service of the feminine. And I had this beautiful meditation and connection in the chapel. And I feel just really incredibly blessed to have had that experience and that opportunity. So that was the beginning of the month. This month isn't even over, right? And then we came back from this trip, and then it was full on preparation for our Woman's Essential Experience, this training that was designed. And, the main facilitator is Dr. Judith Wright. And it's been a part of my feminine becoming. It's where I really feel like I've developed myself as a substantive woman, was through, this training that in this particular one, I was asked to step up and lead in front of the room for significant amounts of it. I didn't, I thought that might happen, but I had no time to quote unquote prepare at the level that I might have liked to. But I knew in this feminine space that I could turn myself toward it and trust and put my energy into that trusting, loving space, and do the work that I needed to, and any preparation that I could, but that it really was going to be about my presence and being fully with myself in that training to bring this really powerful, deep curriculum to light. And I felt in the flow and blessed. And sure, there were a few times it was a little bit rocky, but for the most part, I felt like it was, I don't know, it was a time for me to be with women that I really care about, new women who were, coming to this training for the first time, and really a supportive time for a huge vote, yes, for the feminine. And it's not an accident that we always hold this training in May. So continuing the through line of everything that's been happening for me personally, but also, in the world in the month of May. I think it's a beautiful month to consider what it means to self-mother. And I think some of the examples that I was giving were ways that I had to self-mother for myself. It was also very interesting, and I don't think an accident, that when Jill Bolte Taylor said yes to being on my podcast, I gave her a whole bunch of dates. And I said, I'm just going to put one here the day after this weekend, because while that feels like really soon and may add extra pressure, I'll also be in the space of having just been on this 3-day immersive, intensive time in both the pragmatic aspect of living feminine values, but also that more right brain, we're all connected, all is well, peace, wisdom of the universe space. And that's the date she picked. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. And it was really a beautiful, blessed time to sit down and be in the space with a woman who has been on such a huge journey. I won't say too much about it, but a journey that for me really exemplifies going from being a woman in a masculine role as a scientist and, very living from that framework, to having a stroke that wiped away that rational thinking and feeling side. And as she built it back after the stroke, the part that she realized was the most, the part she wanted to hang out in the most was the arena of the feminine and the more right brain, caring, all is well, one with the universe aspect, and that how all these other aspects are in service of that. So it, supported the curriculum so beautifully, and myself as well. It's interesting that all of this, and I know I probably should have said this at the beginning, and if you've heard my other podcasts, I always make the disclaimer, I'm talking about the divine feminine and I'm talking about masculine feminine, but not gender specific. So inserting this very important disclaimer that I'm looking at the yin and the yang, the values that are in this left side of our brain, our thinking and feeling brain, that are more rational and thinking oriented. And then the right side, that I often use the term feminine, but the yin side and the caring, intuitive, we're all connected aspect. So how can we harness more of this in our life through the year? I love that there's a special month dedicated to it. I think it's important to underline it, dig into it as much as you can. While I believe the energy is collective in many ways, but then we want to look at living that way. And I was steeped in the curriculum this weekend and looking at what that can look like. I love our Sophia Society of Femininity and Action curriculum that really gives a roadmap on how you can live this way. And from a very pragmatic standpoint, that changes everything, right? So I really I love supporting women and celebrating and embracing the divine feminine. And, we can harness it through honoring, feeling, expressing our emotions, shifting out of the belief that our emotions are bad and should be withheld. Something that Jill Bolte Taylor emphasizes also, that we are emotional beings that think. And our world would have us believe that we're thinking brains that feel sometimes, but really shouldn't, and we want to limit it. It's like, no, our emotions are what make us human. We're always looking to kind of detach and be at peace, and we meditate to reach this kind of sublime space, but that's not a place to live in. The place to live in is what we create and generate, where we put our caring with our deepest sense, and opening our hearts to what's possible, and being willing to get hurt and feel our pain fully, and feel all of our feelings fully, responsibly, feel pure pain fully, feel the power of constructive, passionate anger, that sense that something's not okay and I'm going to do something about it. and integrating our anger in that way. So our emotions are a huge way for us to harness the divine feminine energy in ourselves. And I believe that when we do that, we tap into the deepest parts of ourselves and the best parts of ourselves. So I really want to invite all my listeners, all of you, to just see what aspect of, whether it's reading about it, taking a walk, meditating, just some way that you get in touch with both your emotions and this sense of well-being, and that all is well, awe, wonder, these aspects that we kind of relegate to the background and don't give enough attention and time to. So I invite you to those spaces. I invite you to dance around a maypole, or even explore what a maypole is, but be in the beauty of this month, be in the power of, we just are still, today actually is still the full moon, this full flower moon that was a full solar eclipse in Scorpio, and that has its own power. And, read about it and then allow yourself and just open up a space, let some of your rational thinking and judgments fall to the wayside and be in what may be actual traditions, maybe new ways to be and think about divine feminine events of the month, but it's yours to create. It's yours to discover your own power of the feminine, power of the yin, connecting. What does it mean to connect to your right brain, and enjoy that journey? There's no right or wrong. It is what's so, and it's a possibility I want to invite all of you to. So I would love to hear how that adventure goes for you. And I would also be delighted if you would join my community on Instagram now that I'm back and realize that, it's a special place. And I was really sad at the thought of losing it. But I always enjoy reading your insightful comments and interpretation on my posts. And my profile is linked in the show notes, so you can find me there. And please, please, please do sign up for my newsletter. I've been putting them out monthly and sharing news and insights, and another way for us to be together as a community. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for choosing yourself and taking the time to listen to this podcast. As always, please rate, review, and subscribe to Mother. Subscribe to Mother. It helps other people who need this message, aka all women, well, actually everybody, men included. I'm honored to have you on this journey in mothering yourself. Remember, change is uncomfortable, but it's beautiful, and it starts with us. And if you can't wait until next week's episode, follow me on Instagram and LinkedIn at Dr. Gertrude Lyons, or at my website, drgertrudelyons.com. I'll see you next time.